Are you serious? Are you serious? We have breaking news tonight. A very serious situation is developing in Russia. There has been a massive explosion and fire of a Russian major virus lab. Danger, danger. We're talking about viruses such as Ebola and HIV and anthrax and other dangerous pathogens and viruses that have potentially exposed to the public. This is not a good situation at all. I repeat, this is not good at all. And again, another problem in Russia. It seems like everything they have is falling apart, and it's concerning. Let me tell you what the breaking news is. This is coming out of Russia as we speak. This fire has hit a major virus lab in Russia where HIV, where Ebola, where anthrax strains are stored, and much more. Matter of fact, one of the world's largest virus research centers, located in Siberia, was reportedly engulfed in flames after a sudden explosion rocked the secretive compound known for its storage of Ebola, HIV, and anthrax, and other dangerous pathogens and strains of viruses. Firefighters and rescue services were scrambled today to respond to this fire that broke out in Kosovo, a scientific hub several kilometers north of Novosibirsk. A situation there in Russia was quickly upgraded from an ordinary emergency to a major incident as the explosion and the fires affected Russian Research Center of Biology and Biotechnology, often referred to as the Vector Institute. I repeat, the Vector Institute. Now, this laboratory is known for having developed vaccines for Ebola and hepatitis, as well as for the study of epidemics and other genetic issues surrounding immunology. During even the Cold War, it was thought to be part of a non-defunct Soviet biological weapons program, meaning that some of the most dangerous strains on Earth, including that of smallpox, Ebola, and anthrax, and certain plagues, are still being kept there inside the Institute's building. I mean, it's like the incubator of death. It's like somebody just released the pale horse of the apocalypse if we're not careful. And with that in mind, a local branch of the emergencies ministry swiftly responded to the call, sending in 13 fire engines, 38 firefighters who entered the 6-story building minutes after their arrival. But were they protected for what they were getting ready to encounter? Now, the fire was located. It quickly was extinguished on the 4th floor area. On the 4th floor where some construction works were being carried out, but smallpox, bioterrorist activity, bioweaponry, I mean, you name it, every ungodly pathogen, virus, deadly disease, plagues, it is the pale horse. The pale horseman is galloping if we're not careful here, guys. No wonder I had to do a whole prophecy series on the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Reports by local authorities are conspicuously light on detail. It doesn't shock me. With various sources suggesting it was just a gas blast and it had triggered a fire at in the construction site. One construction worker suffered burns to his legs and was taken to an area hospital for trauma care. Now, what infection or viruses or biochemistry or diseases was that dude carrying with him as they took him into a hospital full of more patients and healthcare workers who then are going to be around other people? I mean, you got to understand the domino effect here. The domino effect here could be deadly. It could be disastrous. We could have a pandemic on your hand of a global scale, of an apocalyptic event if we're not careful. The mayor of Kosovo, for his part, assured the public that there was no release. How does he know? There's no way that dude knows. Don't assure me of nothing. We don't want to see another talking head. We don't need to see another mayor, another politician assuring the public that nothing was released when the dude has, all he's doing is worried about commerce in the city. He says there was no release of hazardous substances in the area, and still the cause of the blast remains unknown, and the investigation is still being launched. Can I ask a question that nobody wants to ask? The big white elephant in the room. Is Vladimir Putin in charge of Russia anymore? He's got rockets blowing up. He's got deadly virus labs blowing up. He's got 8 straight weekends of protest outside the Kremlin calling for him to step down. He hasn't been to Moscow in 3 months. He's sleeping 2 weeks on the couch with Emmanuel Macron in France, hanging out either in the Crimea or in Sochi. I mean, things are blowing up everywhere around him. He's selling off some of his best equipment. Where is Putin? I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Pray for the people of Russia right now, guys. Hey, they just had a nuclear explosion. They had a submarine sink, 6 months ago? A nuke sunk down there in the Barents Sea. They just had a nuke plant blow up. People were taken into the hospital a few miles away with radiation. The hospital staff didn't even know they had radiation on them. Now you got a virus lab blowing up, and you got rockets blowing up, and Putin sleeping on the couch in France. This is getting serious, guys. Don't overreact. I'm just saying. Are you serious? I mean, something biblical seems to be going on here with the signs of the second coming of Christ. What? I'll be back with more. Hopefully I can come back with more. Or is this the end of the world as we know it?